you get the idea. They even kind of show a scene where, like, somebody earlier in the night they had shown somebody's shadow and the dog walk into the room, and you kind of get the idea that that person was assimilated, but you don't know who. And that's the whole thing about this. It's a who the fuck do you trust? Who's the thing? I mean, who isn't the thing? So it gets real interesting. It goes along. So, and you know, one by one, the members of the team start getting taken over by the thing. Bennings is first one discovered to be a thing when one of the dead bodies recovered from the Norwegian camp attacks him. But his transformation wasn't quite complete, and fucking McCready sets him on fire with a torch and gasoline outside. Remember that, Vic?
Yes, that was pretty awesome.
Apparently that shit was hot, too, like way hot whenever they filmed that, so that shit was dangerous.
I'd imagine.
Apparently it was. A lot of the shit was dangerous.
Hey, I got to step out for a few minutes. I'll be right back, so just keep on going. I'll be back.
It's all right. Vic, you're not adding shit anyway. You suck.
I can't help it. All right.
So, Blair, you know, and I talked about him earlier being a big deal in this movie. He's a biologist on the American team, and he's studying the cells from the thing. And he kind of watches them attack and replicate other kinds of cells. And he's typing this report into his computer. And the computer replies that the possibility that one or more team members may be infected by the alien organism is like 75%. And that the alien reach civilization, the Earth's going to be infected and taken over by the alien organism in exactly like 27,000 hours, which would be about 3 years, a little bit over 3 years after first contact. So, you know, they're like, they got to figure out a way to fucking contain this. So he kills the surviving sled dogs and destroys the helicopter and the communications equipment, and beats the fuck out of Windows, who is like the radio operator. And this dude just gets his ass kicked the entire movie. Windows does. So he's trapped a crew in there without hope of being rescued because winter just started. They can't contact anybody on the radio. Now they have no radio. They have no helicopters. He's killed the sled dogs. And he's done this because he's trying to keep, you know, he's flipped his shit. Don't get me wrong, Blair's lost his fucking mind. But at the same time, he knows that if this thing gets out, then it could mean the end of the world. That's why they call this 1/3 of the Apocalypse trilogy of John Carpenter's Apocalypse movies, which, for those of you that aren't familiar with that, it's In the Mouth of Madness, Prince of Darkness, and, of course, this movie. So, the others, seeing him as the threat after they finally fucking subdue him when they take a table to him and then smack him in the head, they lock him in a storage shed outside. If I could fucking say that, it'd be nice. But anyway, and McCready's out there talking to him, and Blair's like, watch Clark. And McCready's like, what? And Blair's like, watch Clark, you know, because he was with the dogs. So automatically Clark's the red herring here. Everybody thinks that he's going to be a thing, which, if you look at the facts, it makes sense that he would be. So, you know, everybody starts speaking. I love the background noises. What a professional podcast we have. So anyway, fear and everybody's just scared in the camp right now because nobody knows who the fuck's the thing and who isn't. And, you know, I think that's one of the strong points of this movie. So they have this blood plasma in the storage room that Copper says, you know, we can just figure out who is the thing and who isn't by mixing the blood because it should do something because, you know, the thing would try to assimilate with infected blood. Well, when they go to look for it, it's all fucking destroyed and gone. So someone or something has gotten into it. And Gary and two others become suspects because they're access to the storage room. Mainly Gary and the Dr. Copper. But Gary's the main red herring here. So you've got two red herrings now. You've got Clark and you've got Gary. Well, basically, they get quarantined by McCready, who takes over as like the de facto leader of the team, even though he doesn't want to be. But Gary, since nobody really trusts him, he gives up command of the post, and Childs tries to take over. And Clark's like, the fuck you are? And McCready takes the gun, and he's like, yeah, it needs to be somebody a little more even-tempered. We're not going to have a black guy in charge. Are you crazy? Vic, if you only could have heard that.
That was one of the exact words, man.
I'm glad you heard me. So anyway.
I did.
Well, they're going to try to figure out who the thing is. A whiteout storm's coming, which means in the Antarctica, you're just not going to be able to see shit. It's like a hurricane, but it's fucking, snow. And it hits the camp, and they're all basically having to hunker down. And all of them, of course, are paranoid. Nobody's fucking sleeping. They're all distrustful of one another. And the next night, after no one's sleeping, you got Fuchs. One of the smarter people on the team, I'd say. He's trying to do research on how the thing can reproduce and multiply. And you basically see that he gets attacked. And whenever Fuchs tries to go after it, and this is, by the way, after Fuchs earlier in the movie had told McCready what Blair had discovered about all this shit, about how it's going to spread. So, I think everybody realizes how important this is. It's kind of funny, too, though, because Childs had already seen the dogs going apeshit, and he tried to say earlier, do you believe any of this voodoo bullshit? And I'm like, dude, it's right in front of your face. Are you seriously that stupid? But then again, you are black, so fair enough.
Hey, man, what you gonna do about it, man? That's how.
What you gonna do about that? Hit a nigga with a baseball bat. All right.
You can't say that, man. You're sober.
I did. It wasn't me.
You can't say it's over. You can't say it.
So, they find Fuchs's burned body, right, laying in the snow, and either the thing burned Fuchs to death or Fuchs burned himself in a suicide to prevent him from being taken over, which I don't fucking blame him. I wouldn't want to be assimilated. It looks like it sucks. So, yeah. As the men, kind of wander off alone and return with looks on their faces, McCready starts getting worried about who's infected. And Childs, by the way, here's what happens next. Basically, God damn it, I hear a baby awake.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So anyway, Childs and the crew basically start suspecting McCready as being a thing, because what happens is Knowles, this other black guy who you can't trust, is out there on this tow line with McCready, and he finds some of McCready's clothes stuffed up a furnace, and so anyway, he takes those clothes that are stuffed up the furnace, and sorry, man, I'm listening to something. Continue to talk about something. I don't care. Hang on.
All right. So anybody out there listening, you can give us a call at 310-634-1923. Let us know what you think about the thing, about the entire series, about this one movie, just whatever. But I'm waiting for Travis to get back on, because I'm a little because to remember anything about the movie. That might be him.
All right, I'm back.
I think he fell. Oh, he's back. All right.
No, man, I went to mute because I had to go make sure the baby was alive.
Okay, she good?
No, she's up there crying, but the wife's inside, so I'm not worried about it. I didn't know if she was inside or not. Goddamn smokers.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
Gotcha.
The Knowles cuts McCready from the tow line, thinking that McCready's a thing now. Well, McCready fucking gets back into the shed, and they're ready to fucking burn him, but he's got dynamite, and he's like, go ahead, burn me, child. And fucking McCready's not dicking around. He about died out there in the cold, and he's like, fuck you all, I'll kill all of you, you know what I mean? So, Norris and Knowles try to jump McCready, and McCready whoops their asses, and Norris collapses, and he's blue sweater guy. He collapses and appears to have had a heart attack, right? So, Copper tries to revolve this dude using defibrillator. Today's a hard day for me, apparently. Defibrillator for paddles. Exactly. And I've not even been drinking.
I know. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, well, what can I say? I don't have a whole lot of faith in other people at the moment. Long story. Anyway. So
I got you, dog.
Norris's chest suddenly opens up and bites off fucking Copper's arms, which was one of the coolest parts in any movie ever. It was fucking out of nowhere. This thing fucking just opens up, has teeth, and bites his goddamn arms off whenever he's trying to revive this guy. So, of course, MacReady uses a flamethrower to destroy the Norris thing and leaves only its head, which is another good fucking effect by Rob Bottin. And this head pretty much, it kind of like slithers down off the table that it was on, and it sprouts spider-like legs and starts to walk away before it gets fried too. So, at this point, MacReady leads the others to an idea that he has a test to determine who's infected, and he suggests everybody give a blood sample, and those blood samples be burned. Basically, you stick a hot needle into them, and they're going to react, not like a man would react if they're infected, because if they're infected, it's every piece of the thing. It's its own independent entity, because the thing is not just one thing. It's all sorts of things. Like, every little bit of it, it's going to react if you do something to it, even blood. So, he's basically saying that each part's going to try to survive independently, and the blood's going to transform in itself. So, one member, Clark, tries to make another attempt on MacReady's life. He fucking tries to stab him, and he gets blown the fuck away. Gets shot right in the goddamn head. Kill shot. Just like earlier.
He deserved it. He deserved it.
That's what he gets. Trying to stab a motherfucker, little bitch. Fuck him.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Everyone's tied up while the test is performed. Windows is first to be tested. And this poor bastard, he's been through so much shit. It's nice to know he is human. He was the one that got his ass kicked by Blair, and then this poor, he just looks like he's been through hell, because everybody's always yelling at him, telling him to get the radio working. So, and he turns out to be human. And MacReady, he gives him the flamethrower, and he tells him to torch anyone who might be the thing. So MacReady continues the test, and basically he's telling Gary that he thinks he's a duplicate. And he tests himself, and he's fine. He tests Palmer, and actually he tests Clark and the doctor first. And Clark and the doctor, neither one are the thing. And Childs is like, I guess that makes you a murderer, doesn't it? You know? Because Childs is kind of the antagonist from MacReady right now.
Yeah.
Childs, again, is Keith David. But anyway, so he finds Huh?
I said he's a bad motherfucker.
Yep. So instead, he finds out that Palmer, the one earlier that I said, "Hey, thanks for asking," or "Thanks for thinking about it," is the Thing clone. And this scene is cool. Again, Rob Bottin special effects. This dude's sitting there tied to a chair next to Gary and fucking Childs, and his face starts melting, right? And this motherfucker starts turning into the Thing. His head splits open, and he just fucking flies up into the roof of the ceiling like a goddamn moth. And then he drops down, and, MacReady was going to try to burn him, but the flamethrower is, stuck. I don't know what the problem with it is, but it won't go. And he's telling Windows to burn him, but Windows hesitates, fucks around, and Windows gets fucked up. This thing, opens its mouth up, sticks him inside, just starts eating part of him, and then throws him across the room. It's pretty vicious. And like I said, Windows gets his ass kicked this whole movie. And that's about the end for Mr. Windows there, but we'll get to his very end here shortly. So, like I said, MacReady manages to get his flamethrower working. He sets the Palmer thing on fire, which crashes through the wall to die in the snow. And then fucking Kurt Russell, a.k.a. MacReady, he throws a fucking grenade on his burning body. And what's great, Vic, is whenever he did this in the movie, the actor Kurt Russell, he didn't realize this thing was going to blow the way he did and almost fried his face.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah, almost fucked his world up.